welcome to the Stanley Street Social podcast presented by the TAC. I've got Campbell Flakemore with me, Max Gawn, my co-host. We're back at the social club. Jesus, good to be back in person. We only had like a week and a bit, or two episodes back online, but it was painful getting through.
Back in headquarters.
It is good to be back in headquarters.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
The podcast, of course, brought to you by the TAC. The road belongs to us all. There was an interesting point that Lucas made in the podcast that we did, that I did with him on last week, that was released Monday, was just around riding in the daytime. He said every day that he gets out on the road, lights on, no matter what. He did a nice little plug for Garmin too about a bit of their products. So I think a very important message from Lucas, and a big thank you to the TAC for getting on board. The other big news, the big news is we're not going early.
We're actually quite late.
We're actually quite late,
Yeah.
which is a bit different. But Campbell insisted that we wait off.
That's simply not true.
That we get the team sheets.
We do it differently. Not many previews go through team to team. A lot of previews just go through the stages, their tips. I think we do it. We got a unique flavour to ours.
Yeah, and it is a bit different because we do normally go early, and there's a few guys that aren't racing that we talk about, but here there's no excuses.
Yeah.
I think this time it's going to be a little bit more polished, and we've had a little bit more time to prepare as well.
Like right now, there is no way you can put Chavez in your top three again. Look at this.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I am. You put Chavez in your top three last year. Or was that the Volta? Might have been the Volta.
Yeah, listen, it probably did happen at some point, but I won't be going near him as a general classification rider this year.
I have got one exclusive for you though. So MAP Apparel, our performance kit partner, the best
Great partner for us,
the best kit in the world, non-biased. They're releasing a new coffee blend this Saturday.
I've seen this.
That's exclusive though. No one else knows that yet. They've just been putting out teasers. So if you want to check out their new coffee range, or their coffee blend that they've done with Proud Mary, 8 o'clock at North Melbourne at their MAP shop. They'll have brew on site. There'll be a ride, little bunchy, pastries and whatnot. And then you'll also be able to get that on the Proud Mary site and at MAP headquarters.
Is there a chance of us getting a few samples, Alex, to put through the barista Breville Express?
Hopefully we can pick up a little bit of brew too. You coffee...
I'm a coffee man.
Coffee man?
And a pastry man. I think that's cycling for you, isn't it?
Do you have a coffee machine at home?
I do. I've just upgraded. Got the Breville Touch. So I used to have a manual type setup, the ones that basically all the French riders seem to plug, separate grinder, separate everything, and it was a lot. Now I've gone to like a touchscreen semi-auto sort of setup. But
so is that a couple of levels above what we've got?
Campbell and myself have both purchased coffee machines in the last 6 months. I think we went the baseline Breville integrated grinder, but
that's what I'm at as well.
Yeah. No touchscreen though.
No touchscreen.
No touchscreen. No. I think that's a big difference.
Manual buttons.
Yeah, makes a big
that's
difference.
The difference. That's the difference.
Just being able to press max and not have to always guess what I'm going to have.
Yeah.
It's just,
it is a process, but it's great.
We'll work on getting some beans from MAP. So if you do want to get some beans, check out their website or Proud Mary's website and ride. I'll be there 8 a.m. Saturday morning, pending weather.
We might need some caffeine over the next 3 weeks.
It's good. Like, it's tour time. You just feel like there's just a bit more energy.
It's the best race of the year. There's no doubt about it, and it's probably the best podcast of the year as well, gentlemen. I'd probably have to say.
Do you have a tactic? How do you watch the tour?
Well, last year in the lockdown, I was watching a lot of stages with no real responsibility.
So live.
Yeah. Catching up the next day, you kind of need to avoid socials.
Yep.
If you want to really get the full experience.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what the tactic will be going into this year, but definitely watching Saturday night from the start to the finish. You?
Saturday night as well. Maybe I'll miss the start. I've got a prior engagement at the MCG. But,
yep.
One of those things. Yeah, I'll definitely get to the finish, but I tend to wake up at 5 and watch the last sort of hour and a half before I go to training.
That's a good plan.
Have a whiff of coffee, eggs, don't touch my phone.
Yeah.
That's commitment though.
Yeah, but I'm an early sleeper, so I like to go to bed at 9,
There is something nice about having it on of an evening time as you wind down.
There is that as well. So you can watch the first bit of the stage, watch the break go, turn it off, go to sleep, then wake up and watch
the last hour and a half. Yep. I like that play.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
So please don't contact me in the middle of the night and tell me what's going on, would you?
On our Tour de France too, Campbell, what we've got booked in so far, we've got Caleb Ewan, Jack Haig, Ben O'Connor. We had Lucas on the pod last week. I'm missing someone. Miles Scottson.
Try and get Miles on.
Miles Scottson.
A key part of the FDJ team.
So I think we're going hard on the interviews. Last year we did. There was 2 Aussies, Caleb and Richie. This year there's 10.
Yep.
So there's a bit to work with. So we can go hard on the interviews, and then of course our preview show now, unpack at the end, just to revisit what the tour was. Let's get into the team sheet. 2021 UAE Emirates off the top. The defending champion, the Pog, is back. And just think about how we're talking about him this year compared to last year. We're talking about that guy that was good at the Welter.
Yep.
He had some stage wins. This year's defending champ. It's a very, very different Tour de France for UAE Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
Went very light on domestics for Pog last year. This year they've brought in Rafa Micah, Brandon McNulty rides for him. Formolo, not sure what sort of form Formolo is going to be in. He was in not great form in the Giro. But yeah, a stronger team surrounded him. Not sure if Hershey's going to have much of a license to do anything himself.
That was one of my major questions, is where does he fit in? Is he going to be able to play the team role? He's not going to be able to attack stages like he was.
We haven't seen his
season.
form yet. He was at the Giro. Maybe not.
He's been at races, but he hasn't been at races.
Yeah.
You haven't seen much of him. And he kind of plays that role and then poses that question that a lot of them pose around the vans and where they have that clear GC ambition, and then also this massive talent that's sitting within their squad. So I think that one's all right. I think Hershey's all right because I don't think he's in that good a nick unless he's been doing some wonder work over
you'd want him to be in good nick if you're taking him. I understand that he would have gone there for an absolute packet. And he would have gone there knowing that it would have been all for Pogacar at the Tour de France. So he must know what his role is. And maybe on some of those stages that the Vans will be going for now with Philippe, he might be able to get a little bit of a license to have a kick himself. And he can climb well, so he can do a little bit of supporting in the mountains. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid team, and it'd want to be taking the defending champion.
One of the last team sheets to get handed in. Not sure if there's anything in that, but I do know they were tossing up for a long time with Christoph.
Did win the first stage last year.
Stage 1 last year surprised everybody. And then they've just decided maybe Christoph did nothing to help Pogacar for the next 20 days of that tour.
Yeah.
But big call. They're all in for Pog. But much stronger than their team last year.
Oh, so yeah.
I remember
it had to be, though.
Multiple times last year, Pog was left one out with 20 men in the group.
Yeah. But they were a team that was never looked at to help.
Correct.
This year, there's going to be all the other big teams looking at them to help out. And I think they can with McNulty. Bjerg is a big tank. So overall, I think it's a good team. But is it good enough to win the Tour de France when they're expected to win? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I guess the question for me is where's the Richie Port or the Sepp Kuss, that guy that goes deep into the mountains with Pog.
It's probably Micah and McNulty.
He's a top 5, isn't he? He's a top 5 tour performer. I think he's finished 5th.
Oh yeah. In previous editions, is he still there?
That's the question.
But I think the thing to note is Rog's coming in with a completely different world around him. He's a Tour de France winner, and also last year he was losing time in the crosswinds. There wasn't a whole lot of team support for him. Did you have any moments in your career, Max, where it went from that? Obviously, probably not this kind of change, but where it went from all right, big expectations, big fan bases, big awareness, and then your ability to perform after that.
I think we're in it. I've had a gradual, in terms of individual, I've just had a gradual rise. But from a team point of view, we're probably in it right now.
Yeah.
the expectation's right there. It's a completely different feeling every game you play in now. Like I said last time, I think you celebrate the wins when you're a losing team a lot more than what you do when you're a winning team.
Yeah.
And your losses hurt even more when you're on top. So I'm presuming some of these big GC riders like Pog and Rog, if they lose, it's hitting them even more. That's why we see these two boys win stages for fun, Rog and Pog, because they just don't like losing. The day Rog didn't let Gino Mader win his stage.
No prisoners.
Yeah, he just
no
don't,
gifts.
He just don't like losing.
Yeah. Still 22 on the
on
the team sheet, Pog.
And just quietly, he's had a good year as well. It's not like one of those guys that win a Tour de France and then have a quiet year. He's won at Torino, won at UAE, won Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and won his home races for Venia, just as a nice little top-up of form. So
You also forget that he won Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Yeah.
Just pick that one up.
He's a racer. Loves a one-day race too.
That's why I think stage 1 and 2 might suit him. It might suit... Everyone's talking the Vans for 1 and 2, but Rog and Pog...
They can sprint well.
They can get in yellow very early here.
Yeah.
Oh, in his Liège win, Julian Alaphilippe was there.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't sprinting against mountain goats.
Yeah.
No. He's quick. He's properly quick.
Onto the second team, Jumbo Visma. Primoz at the top, also close last year, his countryman. Rock solid team. The question I have for these guys is like, what's their approach? Last year, just always riding. This year, don't know, they're just going to keep a little bit more fuel in the tank, look across to UAE a bit more.
Well, it really depends who takes yellow early, I suppose. Like one of them, it's going to be a GC rider in yellow after stage 5. So the time trial will come backed in with a couple of those hilly punches. It'll be a GC guy in there. They'll probably be hoping Ineos gets it, I think.
You'd hope.
Based on what they did last year, so they can ride a bit quieter. I really hope they put Sepp Kuss not to lose time and they keep him in the top 10 for as long as possible. I know that's against what they normally do. They normally empty Sepp Kuss and then he kills off 3 minutes in the last kilometre. But I think that should be their attack. Not all on Primoz. Put Seb in there as well and make it challenging for Ineos.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not sure whether the responsibility will come onto them. I think it will be UAE and Ineos predominantly, so they might be able to take a little bit of a back foot, but at the same time, they're going to have a super scientific approach because Primoz hasn't raced since the 25th of April. That's a serious build-up. That's, they're going to be dialed in. And I don't know, it's a new approach going that long without racing.
But also for Pog, like going to Slovenia, it's a long way from the Dauphiné, the traditional route to the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Geez, he was poor in the Nationals. Pog. I know we're on Rog now, but going back to Pog was poor in the Slovenian Nationals.
I just saw the results. Maybe, did you watch the highlights?
What? He lost to my boy Tratnik by a minute 30 on the TT bike.
It's something I've got to note down.
I know Tratnik's the best in the world at TT.
The favourite for the Giro Stage 1.
Are we going to talk about the Vans now or come back to that?
We'll save it for when Alpes and Phoenix.
Alpes and Phoenix comes around, yep.
But last thing on Jumbo, that's extreme domestique. Like they've probably got, outside of Ineos, but they're all GC riders, Kruijswijk, Kuss, Vingegaard and Gesink and Van Aert. That's 5 genuine guys that'll be in the last 30 up a climb.
And I think that's the difference between that and UAE Emirates. It's like there's no stacked lineup to go deep into the mountains.
What do you think?
And they all will go well in the TT, so they all could win.
They will. What do you think Turnisson's role is here?
That was my only question. I don't know. Lead out Van Aert?
Possibly.
Randomly win a stage like he did 3 years ago?
Yep. I think maybe just he's going to be really important in the first 2 stages, keeping Roglic safe on those roads up in Bretagne. I think that's where he's going to earn his money. If he can get Roglic through to the TT, no time lost, I think that's probably job done for Turnison.
Yep.
Ineos. Speaking of stacked squads,
Woofed.
There's a lot of talent in this squad, but there needs to be. And normally, I am strongly against taking multiple leaders or multiple directions in a team, but I like this. They need to go against the Slovenians.
So 3 Grand Tour winners.
Yep.
Richie come third in the Tour last year, and Kwiatkowski's a world champion. So there's a fair bit of ego in that team. I said this to you just before off air. What I'd like for them to do is all 4 of their big boys not lose time. Is it possible if one of them gets in yellow and they have to ride tempo? I think Gegenhardt might lose time. But if all 4 of them have time when it comes to some of the big stages in the third week, they got some strings to pull because they're not the best climbers. I think that's fair. I think we say Rock and Pogger. So if Carapaz, Thomas, Port, and Gegenhardt are all in the top 10, then they got some strings to pull.
It'd be interesting to see whether they do go for the mountain train or whether they do use their numbers. I'm not sure whether Teo will be the one to stay on GC. I think he'll be the first sacrifice. But those other 3, Richie winning Dauphiné, Thomas in super shape, and Carapaz winning Swiss, it's hot and heavy, isn't it, on riders?
What's the hierarchy there?
For me, it goes Thomas, Carapaz, Port. I think Thomas will be their one. From all reports and the videos that I've seen, Thomas will be the leader. We know Richie doesn't like having that pressure as the leader. But I really do like Carapaz. I think he's the most natural racer out of the 3, the most adaptable. But I think they'll be going for Thomas.
I think the 60k TT just leans important. Thomas back in front.
It is important. And I think there's only 2 big mountaintop finishes.
Lots of downhill finishes.
Yeah. So there are lots of mountains, but only two mountaintop finishes. Just one thing that I did want to note on this. I thought Rowan Dennis was going to be on this team sheet. And
trade rumours. And
he missed out. Probably Castrovejo, I think, was the one to come in for him.
Trade rumours haven't helped him. Have you heard them?
I have, to Jumbo.
To Jumbo Visma.
There's this thing in cycling, though, isn't there? If there's some talk about you moving on next year, you'll find yourself on the outer in that year. But I really think Rowan could have been a big asset for them in this tour. He can do it in the mountains. He can do it in the valley. Maybe jag a stage win in a TT. I think he's super valuable. So he was a bit of a surprising omission for mine.
Say it is trade rumours and that's the reason why he's not going to the Tour de France. Surely, as a rider and their agent, you keep it as tight as possible, because you know that you're not going to the Tour. If you don't go to the Tour, it's a big out for your season.
Yeah,
that might be easier said than done, having never negotiated a
big contract.
You didn't talk to Ineos at any point?
Didn't quite get around to Ineos. But
there's a bit of that with Quickstep at the moment as well.
Exactly.
I think the whole Bennett's Cav story has got a bit going on there.
Yeah. Anything else, Max, on Ineos before we head on to Astana?
I think they'll be very, very, very disappointed if they don't break the Quinella.
Yep.
They've got to intercept one of these Slovenians.
The only thing, I guess, that is exciting is normally we have an Ineos that rides like they did at Dauphiné. It's just robotic, 1, 2, 3, rinse the group. For them to win, I don't think they can run that strat.
I agree.
No.
I think they have to use their numbers.
That's exciting.
But use their numbers not via a train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Start sending guys up the road early and really test the strength of the other team's mountain train, which is nowhere near as strong as what this Ineos one would be.
Yep. But they could be in yellow as well if Thomas doesn't lose time on the first 2 and then rides a TT.
Astana, Premier Tech. How you feeling about this team, Cambo?
So my 2 little notes on this is who will lead them. I don't think they'll be going for GC at all. I think Jakob will kind of be the one that they say is, but I think he's had enough cracks at it now. His best Grand Tour result in his career is a 6th at the Giro.
Is it really?
And that's last year. So it's never really come together for him. And I can't see this being the year for it to come together. But overall, there's a lot of good names on there. Jon Izagirre in good shape. Luchenko did a really good Dauphiné. So I think a couple of stages for them is probably par with the names on the team sheet.
Yeah, I've looked into their press release regarding the Tour de France. Jakob wants the Olympics, so he if it gets hard, he'll just give up, is my opinion.
I think he's a better one-day rider than Tour rider as well, by the way.
I think their team leaders, excuse me for the pronunciation, but is it Aaron Burr?
Aaron Baru.
Aaron Buru. I think he will be riding with a little bit of team leader responsibility, not for obviously GC, but to win stages.
Mm-hmm.
They've got an exciting. I reckon they'll be the the Sunweb. Maybe Astana are a little bit of a bigger name than Sunweb, so we're probably expecting them to be the Sunweb of last year. But I reckon they'll win 3 or 4 stages. I mean, Omar Frele won the Spanish national champ.
Some ride that.
Yeah, incredible ride. Lutsenko's been in form and could not lose time and potentially be in and around yellow for the TT as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I reckon I'm quite bullish.
Yeah. Was it Lysenko that was quite good at Dauphiné?
He
was in yellow.
Yeah, just a big diesel.
Yeah. And picked up a stage last year, I believe.
Tour de France, yeah. He's normally good for a stage. Just on Yon, his season has been actually really solid. He's had a top 10 at Romandy, Paris-Nice, Basque and Dauphiné, and is just an all-round solid rider. Can do a good TT as well.
I think they'll hold him on GC for as long as possible. I'd like to see that,
yep.
Cofidis.
That was quite a positive rap on Astana.
I don't think we've ever done that. Have we ever done that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no. We normally talk about Fulsang riding the GC, which we've been doing for about the last 5 years. It feels like for him never to deliver once.
Yep.
Well, they had Lopez there last year as well.
Lopez. But yeah, no, I don't mind this Astana. Cofidis.
The floodgates have opened. They've finally got their win. And bang, they'll go more here. They're the top 2 names on that list, Guy Martin and Christophe Laporte. I'm fans of. I reckon Laporte will be in and around. I know he's in the generation of the Vans, and it's going to be hard for him, but he's going to be in and around it. And Guy Martin will have the polka dot jersey on his back.
He really came up for the tour last year, did Gawn.
Yeah.
Pretty quiet year for the most part this season. A 6th on the general at Paris-Nice though, so he likes racing in France, and the Tour de France is the Tour de France. He's a big French name.
Yep.
I think he likes his theatre and his and his poetry. So he's a real Frenchman.
Yeah.
You can pick the 4 Frenchmen that are going to be fighting off for the King of the Mountains already, can't you? Guy Martin's one of them.
I think your man Gadu will probably shift focus to there at some point.
Once he loses a fair bit of time on the stage 5 TT.
Trek Segafredo have not disappointed, just throwing the dice on the table and picking random riders.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that, isn't there?
I think it's a name in the hat gig at Trek. I reckon they all put their name in a hat.
All good names.
Nibley's lucky enough he's picked it back-to-back Grand Tours.
Yeah, interesting. Your man as well, Boca.
Yeah, I think he's more of a GC maybe this.
You think so?
Rather than the stage wins. I think they'll be very disappointed with the stage win approach that he had for the Giro.
Yes.
He was in every break.
He's going to ride GC?
I think, he can't ride for the breaks.
Well, maybe he needs to just narrow his focus for the breakaway and not go in every breakaway. Like he didn't miss a move.
Just a fun fact on Boca. Of all the names on the start list, he has the most kilometres of racing under his belt this season.
Really?
Yeah. So those old legs, he just wants to keep racing. He doesn't care.
Inside and outside? Zwift as well? Or is that just Ks?
Just includes actual Ks on the road.
Okay. Real mileage.
Yep.
But one thing I do want to point out here is they've got 3 riders that are awfully similar. Mads Pedersen, Jasper Stuyven and Edward Toons. All guys that are going to run between a 3rd and a 6th in a lot of bunch kicks. If they can amalgamate their strength, I think they could maybe cause a few problems. Probably with Mads Pedersen as the leader. I think he was 2nd on the Champs in Paris last year, so he can do it in a proper bunch kick. Yep. And if those guys can get together, they can cause a few problems.
You can get over hills, unlike their other great sprinter in my boy Mochetti.
Sadly, not on the start list.
Unfortunately, no inside word from Trek this tour, with Cohen de Court having a well-earned rest.
Yes, no mail from on the ground.
Jasper, your boy, who was at 101s for your big win in where did he win?
Milan San Remo.
Milan San Remo. He'll be thereabouts, stage 1 and 2.
Yeah, he will be.
He'll be looking.
He definitely will be.
It's just at stage 1 and 2. We'll get to this later, but it is just going to be chaotic because, as Jasper is. Most of the rest of the podium, most of the start list is going to be looking for stage 1 and 2. Team Quebecer Assos, Simone Clark leading the team sheet.
Can they back it up with an underwhelming team again?
It's not exciting, is it? This team on paper. Campanarts will be going for a result in the time trial. Sergio Henao, not the rider that we all expected him to be after his 7 or 8 years at Sky. Walsheed, Tier 2 kind of sprinter. I think there's just too many quick guys here for him to cause problems, so they'll just be sniffing out opportunities where they can, whatever that means.
Campenaerts has said recently, might have been in his post-match when he won the one of the stages in the Giro, that he's focusing less on TTs and more on being an opportunist breakaway man. So,
well, it worked for him at the Giro.
It did.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be in a few breaks. So maybe Campenaerts can be a stage winner. But
I think one stage for them would be a successful tour.
Hopefully it's Clarkey.
Yeah.
Simone for a breakaway.
He's Olympics. I think he was the 4th name.
Yeah.
Hague, Port.
Meyer.
It's Meyer or Clark is the 3rd because the 4th's another climber. Anyway.
Anywho.
Yeah. Team Bike Exchange.
Okay, here we go.
If you want a little bit more insight on Team Bike Exchange, just look to our last podcast with Lucas Hamilton, the young climber, who announced that he's going for the general classification.
It's exciting.
Ooh la la.
And I'm glad we've been calling.
It's time.
We've been calling
it's time,
for this.
Campbell.
I mean, obviously we do have some invested interest as a buddy of ours, and we've been calling for this for a long time.
I think you're just a buddy. I think Alex is now the journo.
I've called him from my friendship group.
Yep.
I'm out of the WhatsApp.
So they are taking Yates and Chavez as well, who have been their kind of guys for the general, but they're going with some young Australian blood. My question is, how much support is Lucas going to get from these guys in the mountains?
I think absolutely zero.
Yep.
You would.
I had that feeling.
After the Giro preview, where I was a big advocate of their squad, all in for Yates. Like, let's go. Yates is on here. They've gone back to the drawing board of let's try and win every classification and every stage.
They're all in for stage wins, and they've just told Lucas, you're not going for a stage. You just ride with that group and see how you go.
Normally, I wouldn't like the inclusion of Matthews. Obviously, he's kind of a bit of a marquee name, an Australian that can win. And I think it might take, even though I don't think he's going to challenge the Vans or Alaphilippe, it just might take a little bit of pressure off of Lucas in a way that I can't really describe. But you know what I mean?
Like a co-leader.
A little bit. But the one I don't agree with is Mezgec. It would have been nice to see Lucas get another man, maybe a Damien Howson who's showed some good shape not so long ago. I can't remember what race it was at, but he won it.
Like Czech Tour or something.
Yeah, so
he stayed in the Dauphiné as well, didn't he?
He was always just at the back of the group. Yep. So he's a guy that can climb. He's always the first to put his hand up to help out. And I don't know whether Lucas is going to get that from Luca. Maybe on some of the flatter stages, but I think Mezgec will have his own ambitions for those. So that was the only questionable decision.
He's a poor man's bling, isn't he?
Mezgec?
Yeah.
Well, he was best of the rest twice last year when the breakaway slid up the road, or when the DSM boys were flying off the front in the last 5K. But
Crow Anderson beat him twice to come second.
I think the bling on Matthews. He's not even... The Vans have gone past him, obviously, but Sonny Cobrelli's gone past him as well.
Yeah.
He's 5th or 6th in that group now.
Yeah, I agree.
But and just like that field of rider is so hot.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see their approach. And like you really hope that Bling can step up and show what he has shown in the past. But
I think he's best going for one of these bunch sprints in one of the 8 flat stages. I reckon that's his best chance.
Yeah.
Because if Caleb gets held up, at some point he will, in one of these 8 flat stages, Caleb will have a bad run. He's only going to beat Arnaud Demar from there, or maybe the big DSM fella, Bowl.
And Cav.
Is Cav riding for Ballerini, or is Ballerini riding for Cav?
But I don't know. Overall, I'm a little bit disappointed, but it does have enough there. I like Durbridge, always rock solid, lining up for his 7th tour. In your books, that would make him a veteran.
Yeah, he's a veteran.
After this one.
7,
So he's only done 6. He's only got 6 under his belt. This would be 7.
If there is a whiteboard in the Bike Exchange bus, and they're saying their goals, it'll have top 10 GC.
Yes.
Stage win. Maybe 2.
I think 2 could be greedy.
And would there be anything around the points jersey?
I hope not.
Yep. If you actually look at the sheet though, Durbridge, Janssen, Jules Jensen riding the flats.
Mm-hmm.
Yates, Chavez supporting Lucas in the mountains. And then Matthews and Mesjek just doing whatever they want. Like,
Yeah.
They've
Of course,
actually-
on paper,
it's not going to play out like that, but it is there. The structure's there if they need
Chavez
it.
and Yates can be climbing top 15, which, of course, they can, just whether they're motivated to do it is the question.
The only time Lucas will get help from Yates, Simon, will be when Yates is up the road and the group catch the break and Yates hands him his bottle just before he gets dropped from the main group. That is the only time I can see them two even communicating on a hill.
But Lucas has done the job for Simon.
Yeah,
lots of
maybe there
times.
is a bit of that. There
I
might
think
be a
they
bit
are.
of payback.
I think they are buddies, so that does count for a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm buddies with Luke Jackson. But if Luke Jackson is playing 90% ruck, I'm not buddies with him anymore.
Bahrain victorious. Another Australian in there heading for the GC, which we hope to have on the pod throughout this tour.
That'd be great.
Be good to hear from Hagee as he really steps up as well. It's a massive tour for Lucas and Jack, stepping up as GC roles. I think maybe one of the reasons that Jack left Bike Exchange was he wasn't getting that opportunity. It wasn't there. The line of sight to the GC leadership was too far. He's gone to Bahrain. He's got that. He's got a solid squad around him.
He does. And he looked really good at Dauphiné.
Yeah.
And I really like Bilbao, Poles. That's probably about as deep as it goes as the help he's going to get. Depends what sort of Dylan Toons shows up. But yeah, I think Jack, he can definitely do top 10 here. That should be the expectation for me.
And they got Max's boy Bilbao there for mountain support, and they've got the fresh Italian national champ in Sonny.
Who can go head to head, I think, with the Vans.
I think on their whiteboard, green jersey, points jersey is there for Sonny Colbrelli.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's been a bridesmaid a couple times to Sagan. He comes second or third, maybe 2 years
Don't
in a
know
row.
the hard facts on that.
They're not popular. The people who place get in the points jerseys. I don't think. I don't think they get remembered. But this is again. I've already mentioned Astana is very Sunwebby from last year. This is as well. If Haig's good and going well in GC, they might focus a little bit more on that. But if Haig is in and around 10 or 11, the stage wins will be coming left, right, and centre here. Mohoric back from that crazy crash.
Yeah, he's just a neat and tidy rider, isn't he, Mohoric?
Does it all.
He is.
What do you need him for? He'll be there.
And they've got a lot of wins the last couple of months, which definitely counts for something.
They've actually got the most. I think they're 13.
A lot of morale in the group, a lot of confidence. Big question, though, is where is Mark? Where is Mark Pardon?
Yeah.
Crushed the Dauphiné, and they're taking a 22-year-old second-year pro in Fred Wright.
It makes no sense at all.
Like, hats off to Fred for getting the start of the tour. But where is... Like, Mark, he just
What the hell has Fred Wright been doing on Zwift if he's beaten Mark Pardon?
Yeah.
2 stage wins against the best GC riders.
Yeah, I mean, the first...
Okay, maybe
the
not.
second one was from the breakaway, but the first, I think he did the climb the quickest. He started with the leaders, got a little bit of slack, but held them off. He's awfully stiff to miss out here.
Well, he obviously wasn't in their plans. There's so many funny conspiracies going on where he is. Maybe he's just...
What have you got for
Maybe
us?
he's just hiding.
What are you talking about?
Maybe he's just laying low and hiding after potentially... Because if he came to the tour, he might actually win all 21 stages, which would then put a big red flag on him, I think. I think they'd be coming for him.
He could be doing the Welter.
Yeah, I think he will
That's
be.
my only theory, is that he's targeting to win the Welter.
Well, I think Mikel is doing the World Tour as well. So
that doesn't help him at all.
no.
I mean, there's not much else he could have done for making a case for himself and torching the last 2 stages of the Dauphiné.
How do you reckon he would have gone?
In this,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have taken him as a GC rider, but you could pretty much guarantee a mountain stage.
Get him in a breakaway.
Yeah, the way he was going, it was incredible.
AG Tour, Citroën.
I like it. I like this a lot.
Yeah, we've been bored of them in years gone by.
Ben O'Connor.
Ben O'Connor.
Another Australian's going to be hitting the podcast, hopefully over the next 3 weeks.
He's always good for it as well, actually. Ben.
He's good for it. Ben is actually exceptional. Even like last year at the Giro when he was under contract pressure, hadn't won anything. He was like, yeah, no, I'll come on the pod whenever.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
I think he signed to 2024 as well now with AG2R, which is
happy
great.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a little period for him.
Clear GC leader.
Big
But
time.
the issue is the two in front of him are going to be doing their own thing. Benoit Cosnefroy, who's a chance in the stage 1 and 2s, like everyone is.
Yeah.
And then GVA, who will do his own thing. And to be fair, the two boys, they rode the Dauphiné together. Parrot Piantri, he actually rode really well as well. So they've got those 4 sort of guys at the top of their list that are all going to be interesting.
Where does GVA fit now? I am a massive GVA fan.
I think we all are.
When
Yeah,
he was
why?
in his
prime stuff.
when he was in his prime, like he was the biggest racer. He was just always just hauling ass. Like I don't know, just picture GVA in those like one day classics, just doing it all.
I think the best GVA moment in the Tour is yellow jersey attacking on the cobbles.
Yeah. I just don't know that he has a place in this squad.
Not
though.
anymore. I mean, the vans were at the end of him.
Yeah.
Have been the end of him. I think he's got another year on his contract, which will take him to 37.
Isn't he a van?
He is a van.
He is a van by name.
Just not by talent.
Wow, easy.
Talent in the current
Yeah, we understand
year.
what you're saying, Journo.
The current year.
He'll try though. There's no doubt he'll try.
That'll
and
get
be
picked
there.
up by the press tomorrow as the headline.
So Ben, it will come on the podcast, as will probably Jack and Lucas. So
Yeah.
I'll be careful with my words here, but I think he's the third of the 3. I'm going to put him third out of the 3 Aussies. And let's put Richie in there, so let's say 4. I'll put him 4th out of the 4 Aussies.
They're very equal though.
I agree. I think he's probably the most.
Not Richie. I think Richie's a rung
Richie's
above
1.
just based off experience.
Of course.
And then I'm putting Jack 2, Lucas 3.
I think the question I have for all 3 of them is how they time trial.
Yeah.
I think Ben's probably the best.
And
the
I
TT?
think that's what takes him up a level.
Okay.
I think maybe the other 2 climb a touch better.
Yeah. Maybe I'm focused too much on climbing there.
And I also think that Ben's probably the most aggressive of the 3.
I've seen that. Well, Jack was aggressive in the Dauphiné as well.
He did, yeah. Lucas seems to be a little bit more of a follow sort of operator.
Well, he said in the podcast that we weren't invited to, Campbell, that he
Steve.
likes to sit at the back of the group, and he's had to work on trying to get himself up towards the front of the group.
That's where he was making mates with Yates, just cruising at the back.
But maybe some of that French team technique of just racing hard has rubbed off on Ben to, if you want to attack. And he was one of the ones when Geraint Thomas crashed at the Dauphiné in that last climb. Ben was really one taking it to Richie, and the others weren't quite coming to the party. So again, I think a top 10 here would be an expectation and a reality.
Yep. Movie star. 8 litres.
This is bigger than their tour last year. Because the domestiques are their senior domestiques.
What a squad.
I think the difference is this time that they actually do have a genuine leader in Lopez.
Yeah, but he's a poor time trial.
I know, there is 60k of time trialing, which is super important to keep in mind.
Remember when we were doing the analysis last year on, because it was all about Richie v. Lopez coming to the final time trial. He's done like some random okay TTs.
Port got him by 4 minutes or something on that, didn't he?
But in
There was
saying
some
that,
good value on that as well, by the way.
he's had some absolute shockers. Like he's had some horrific time trials.
So I'm going a little bit on what I see. So I love the managers of Movistar because they just want to win races. So they bring all their guns and they tell all of them to go for the same stage and they just want to win it. So I kind of like that. And it adds to, that Movistar at one point will send all 5 riders that aren't going for the stage to the front and ride full gas.
And just cause chaos for the rest.
And it'll be great to watch.
Yeah.
So I really like when it happens, when they do this. But geez, it must be frustrating for Marc Soler or Enric Mas. Like, just Valverde, just don't go to a tour. Just have a tour off.
Can Valverde cause an upset and win? I'm thinking
On
stage 2 on Mer de Bretagne. I think that's got
I think so.
Valverde written all over it.
So that's the issue. So Valverde will be thinking he can get into yellow on stage 5 because he can TT.
He can. Well, I even think stage 2.
Well, yeah.
And hold it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which then causes what are Lopez and Mas thinking? Like Valverde won't be a domestique for them.
Oh, absolutely not.
Mark Soler definitely won't. You've seen that. He thinks he's the next best thing, but then no one wants to give him the news that he's not.
And where does Mass fall into all of this?
Well, maybe they're just disappointed. Like we've all watched the season 2.
I have not.
I haven't watched season 2
Oh,
yet.
haven't you?
I've watched
Well,
a bit of it.
They
Have got through it.
They tell him to his face, "You are the next best thing. You are the next, like you are us." Then they go get Lopez. Like, what do you do?
Yeah. I think Mass fits into that 5 to 15 place, maybe even top 20. He's never going to challenge the big boys.
Mm.
He was 5th last year.
He's probably the one that you can trust the most.
Yeah.
He does seem trustworthy.
He was climbing. I'm just trying to remember last year. Lopez was slightly better than Mass climbing. Obviously,
Lopez was arguably the best climber at the race last year.
So Lopez was better than Rog and Pog. Then Richie was 4th, and then Enric. Well, it was always just off them.
He was,
from my memory. So he was clear top 5. I'm not sure who else was below them. I'm trying to remember who else went. It was Mikel 6. I think Mikel might have been 6.
He was definitely there.
Yeah.
It was
The famous photo of when the Bahrain boys are riding, he just looks over at the camera like, shit, I'm not up for this.
Yeah. Another interesting point, Soler v. Haig, just in terms of at 2015 Lavernier, it was those two going head to head.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little reference point as to where they're at in their careers.
It does take some riders a few years. We're seeing now, Lucas mentioned it on the pod, that it's taken him a little bit to get to maybe where some of the guys his age have been at for a couple of years. So it does take a couple of years for boys to get to their level. And like I said, Alex, I think Jack, just on that, he's going to do a really good tour here.
Don't get me wrong on Movistar. I think Mark Soler is a gun, but he just has never. He's either, when he's been given the opportunity, he's unfortunately squandered it. Did I just make up a word? Squandered.
I think everyone knew what you were saying.
Squandered is what I wanted.
Yeah.
Or he's in a team full of GC guys. I'm a big Mark Soler fan.
Bora Hansgrove.
Mm.
Peter Sagan is back.
He is.
With an interesting little group of GC boys around him. Wilco, Patrick Conrad, Bookman, and then his boys.
So every year they split 4 and 4.
They go halves.
Yeah, and so Austin Postelberger help out Sagan.
And there'll be a stage where Sagan's up the front and there's no sprinters left. And he'll be going, are you boys going to ride? Or
didn't take Pascal again. Maybe trade rumours with Pascal Ackermann.
Well, I think the trade rumour is that Bennett's going there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means
Sagan's
for Pascal.
going to Total Direct Energy. You heard that one?
I haven't.
Yeah.
With his 14 staff that he brings with him.
Yeah. And probably Oss.
Yeah.
For some reason, Wilco Kelderman, I love my odds. Wilco Kelderman's really short. He's the 4th favourite behind Thomas, so ahead of Carapaz. So for some, I think it's the time trialling. I think people love Kelderman's time trialling.
He's a good time trialer.
Shorting those odds? Or for him not to do that?
So there's something going on because the Dauphiné wasn't that impressive.
He was there.
He was there.
He
was so were the other 2 Aussie boys.
Yeah.
They were almost better.
Listen, he's someone that you can't trust in a Grand Tour. Yeah. We saw that in the Giro when Jai come over the top of him. And the other boys, Conrad, Bookman, can't trust him. They're all that 10th to 15th, I think, this year. I don't like any of them.
I've got a smoky early on Conrad for 1 or 2. I know everyone's tipping someone for 1 or 2, but stage 1 or 2. I think Conrad will be thereabouts.
Okay.
Bookman, I'm really interested with. So they've said that he's there as a pure domestique.
For whom?
For Wilco.
Okay.
But Bookman was in unbelievable form until he crashed out of the Giro and was looking really good. If Kelderman squanders a little bit and Bookman's still riding okay, that could flip.
Yeah, I can see that going the other way.
Yeah. Just quickly, I think stage 7 will be the stage where we see the Bora from last year where they ride all day and put it all on Sagan to win that 249-kilometre stage.
One-day classic within a Grand Tour.
It's a proper one-day classic sort of operation. Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 2, all within the last 60, 70K.
then
That'll be the stage that they go for.
Then he's got to beat MVDP. Good luck to him.
Yeah, he's just dragged him from 240 Ks.
The actual finish.
To be fair, Matthew would have broke away 80 kilometres to go anyway.
The actual finish, it's a flat finish. It's not actually an uphill finish, so that's maybe one for them.
Okay.
Does Sagan win against the Vans in a drag race?
I don't know. That's
It's
what
a
I was
better
thinking.
chance.
If all the guys that were thinking a chance for Saturday night, so Matthews, Cobrelli, Van Aert, Van der Poel, if they're all there and Sagan is on a flat, who wins?
Probably Sagan.
So Ewan and Demar are gone.
Yep.
Sagan.
For stage 1 and 2.
Van Aert's been beating people in...
Van Aert, I still remember that stage of
Caleb.
Paris-Nice where he beat Caleb.
And even last year in the Tour, he won a proper bunch kick.
Yeah. And he does it from the front.
He can
Yeah, he's so strong.
He just rides to the
no
front
team
and
sport.
starts sprinting.
And he's coming off winning Belgium Nationals as well.
Yeah.
When he said he wasn't going well.
Yeah. Lotus Sedal, Campbell off the record, said Caleb's going to win 8 stages. 8 stages.
I didn't say that. I said there's 8 stages for sprinters. Caleb's the quickest guy here. Like you said, Max, let's say one of them, the
One of them
breakaway
goes to a break.
survives.
One of them goes to a
That
break.
leaves 7. I think Caleb can win 4. I think that's fair.
I'm going to say 4 as well. So one will be won by MVDP or Van Aert will do that, one of those random 1 kilometre attacks in like the last 2K, and they'll win that. So there'll be a drag and they'll catch them all out. So there's 2 stages gone. Demar will win one. He has to.
I have to.
He's got one of the best lead-out
We'll come
trains
to that team shortly.
ever. And I reckon Cav wins one.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think 4. But
The issue
you
will be
just-
if Bowl wins one for DSM. He won one last year at the Tour.
Did he?
Whoa, don't come back at me. Did they win 10 stages? Surely he won one of them.
Easy.
I don't know. I think they won it all with randoms, like Crow Anderson and Co.
Sorry to pull you up there.
He's done something last year.
Cease bowl.
Anyway,
Give me one. I'm just going to just get the stats up.
Let me just finish on this.
Alex.
Let me just continue on this team. Compare it to last year, where they had the kind of stacked squad. They took Phil Gill, who was still like, "Yep, I'm going to win." They had Dejan Colbert, Wellens. This year,
Now they're taking Phil Gill, who said, "All right, no, I'm no good now."
yeah, Phil has retired.
Yeah.
So he's doing the job, and it is a full stacked squad for Caleb. So if they can't nail this lead, like multiple lead outs, it's never going to happen.
Where does Harry Sweeney fit into the equation here, Alex?
Well, I think
Great for him to be doing the Tour de France, by the way.
I've heard that he made the squad based off his work at the Belgium Tour, where Caleb was it Belgium Tour, where Caleb won the stage where he was off the back. Sweeney was there, pretty much got him back into the group, and of course he torched the bunch kick because no one else was there.
Yeah.
I think that's another important point to note, that Caleb is in 2021 climbing form. We saw him at Milan San Remo. He talked about he got over the Belgium Tour where there was no other sprinters left, and he talked about after Milan San Remo, it was like last year he struggled with getting the climbing condition in the legs because he didn't have any racing to do. This year he's got a full race program under his belt, a full team towards him. I think he's going to crush this Tour de France. This is going to be massive for him.
I mean, he's their clear leader, probably the only one on that is realistically going to win any stages for him.
The question I have is
the breakaway king, who hasn't won a stage from a break in the last 3 years, Thomas.
Yep, Miss Guzzi. That could be an opportunity.
So stage 7, those sort of stages where there's like 6 category climbs, he gets dropped. But stage 2, where there's just the punch at the end, I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb can climb well with the guys on that one.
I do know the Mur de... Have you done Mur de Bretagne in Tour of Bretagne? Did you get to do it?
Don't think we did it.
It's a solid climb, but the way Caleb can climb and the way he was
So was
climbing...
the Milan San Remo
exactly.
climb.
That's what I was just about to say. The Poggio, if he can get over that, and I think in the first couple of days when he's fresh, that's his best opportunity to get over some of those harder stages.
But he's got 3 and 4 that he wants to win. So
and by the way, 1 and 2 don't count as the 8 sprint stages that there are.
So
Yeah.
he
So
might
he could
not
win 10.
He could win 10.
Yeah, could win 10.
He could win 10 stages.
And if he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, he'll go for the TT
Yeah.
to keep his yellow.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it was the under-19 Australian TT Championship
Yeah.
in 2010
Yeah,
or something. So.
Couldn't win the crit though.
No.
De Koning Quickstep, big news out of this squad.
Mhm.
A massive squad, a big squad in cycling, and even bigger news is the greatest sprinter ever is back. Cav is back.
What's your ability to go back to old podcasts to see when you wrote him? I think it was quote
I
unquote
think,
you wrote him off.
Yeah, I wrote him off.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I'd like
And
to pull up-
I don't think you were far behind him.
Yeah, I probably don't want to pull up the audio because I don't want to listen to it when he wins a stage in this tour. I think he will.
He's back, and he's going to win a stage because he's got De Koning Quickstep behind him.
And Morkov especially, which you always talk about. He's got that many guys to so many stage wins.
Yeah,
And Ballerini makes it quite interesting what they do there.
I
Yeah,
don't-
we'll have a joke. I'm not sure where it was, but Cav and Greipel were winning bunch sprints.
Turkey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we sort of said Cav's beating Greipel, and then both of them have gone elsewhere and beat better sprinters
Yeah.
in different tours.
Yeah.
Maybe we've missed. Maybe Greipel's going to win a stage. maybe Caleb's down to 2, and the big Gripe's going to win one as well.
I don't see that happening, but I can see Cav winning one. I really can with that team. And he did roll up Caleb in Belgium not that long ago. You said that Caleb had a little incident.
I don't know what happened, but it just looked weird. I think, like you said after that, he's like, if Caleb's not going to win, he kind of just sits up, top 5, whatever. But yeah, he beat Caleb Ewan. He beat Groenewegen. He beat it was like
there as well.
Yeah, it was like a sprinting world championship set.
Yeah.
Don't know why they're all there, but they're all there. So I think good signs for 2 guys, Ewan, who cleaned up a few stages. But also Cav, that's big. We're going to talk about Patrick's words this week.
I'd love for you to pull out the quotes, Alex, if you got them. I do have them here somewhere, real quickly. What do you?
So I
would you
guess-
just
I
let
guess-
the listeners know what you're referencing here.
So obviously Sam Bennett. There's rumours that he's going to Bora, and Patrick came out this week and
Lefebvre,
the team
GM.
owner, the GM, Sam Bennett, green jersey winner last year, won a bucket of stages, the best sprinter. And if he was here, it would have been probably a different question for Caleb Ewan. It would have been a different task. But he's been left out. He was in the tour 3 days ago, and now he's out of the tour. And I think the big thing, which these comments that you're about to get on, these guys call themselves a wolf pack. They're all about team culture, all about backing themselves in. And Patrick backs his boys in like no
Hell or high
tomorrow.
water,
Yeah,
normally.
whatever.
That's gone out the window.
This week, that is gone out the window, and he's ripped Sam Bennett in the media.
Well, yeah, Bennett's had an injury recently, which has kept him under a bit of a cloud, whether he's going to be at the tour. Obviously now the team sheet's come out officially, he won't be there. And there's a quote here on Cycling News from Lefebvre, talking to Sporza, big Belgian sport media company. I can't prove that he doesn't have knee pain, but I'm starting to think more and more that it's a fear of failure rather than pain.
It's normally the other way around. Normally you say, I don't know what's going on inside his head, but I can say he's got knee pain. He's gone the other way.
Who comes out and whacks an existing rider like that?
I don't know.
It's
He's off the
it's
board.
not great business. I mean, with comments like that, you can't see him riding for the team ever again, can you?
No. Quality here.
Would you want to go and get results for a manager? Let's say Goodwin comes out, Max Gawn, he's not injured. He's just, he's got a fear
He's
of
soft.
failing.
He's soft. He's soft.
How would you take
Basically.
that?
Yeah, not well.
But I just think it's interesting for the bigger picture of this team that's built off culture.
And
That's
then
built off
But
the
then
boys.
they bring Jeff White, who retired 10 years ago under me, like they've done with Cav.
Jeff White.
Like they've done with Cav. Then it starts getting a bit irritating. You're picking Jeff White over me? I'm like 60. What's going on?
Yeah. that's
Anyway,
big
some
news.
massive comments from Patrick, which
I'm-
didn't need to make.
I'm really bullish about Julian Alaphilippe.
Yep.
Really bullish. I
Yep.
think he's going to take it to them. I think
I
he's
agree.
I think he's going to try and hold GC for as long as he can. He's French.
He's French.
He is French.
They always step up.
And the Euros are on at the moment. I think France qualified. They need to get something back towards the tour.
Yeah.
I reckon that's why they've done like stage 1 and 2 like this, because Alaphilippe's going to be in and around the yellow.
EF Education Nippo.
Easy. You
Well, you want more?
Well, I just think Julian Alaphilippe needs a little bit more.
Bit,
is he going to do a general? Can he actually do a general classification?
He
You
needs-
seem to be very, very bullish on it. I agree. I think he'll have it for
Well, he
a
can
week.
TT. He can TT.
Exactly. Maybe that stage 7 is also good for him. Personally, I don't see him doing a proper general, but he's going to be torching this first 10
Well,
days.
he will do a proper general if he gets in yellow. Then he'll do Tommy Voigtler.
He'll do as much general as possible.
He'll hold on forever.
Yeah. But from all reports, he is absolutely flying.
Well, he can TT strong.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the French national champs. Apparently, it was a disaster. There was rain, there was wind, and he finished about 6 minutes back. But I think Quick Step still won, so I think it might have been within the tactics. But
Yeah.
Are we allowed to move on now?
Yeah,
Yes, we
I
are.
just thought he deserved a bit more. So
to an interesting team, I must say.
It
EF.
is an interesting squad, and the one that I can't really work out is where Ballerini fits, but we'll see. EF Education Nippo. Talk to me, Campbell.
They have a form rider.
yeah, just on that, just on my Sorkin notes, I just noted down here that Rigoberto Uran is actually younger than Geraint Thomas.
There you go.
Fun fact.
And
looks
time
old.
trial him better.
Yeah, he looks
old.
90.
That is almost the most shocking result of the year. Rigoberto winning that time trial.
And it wasn't by 10 seconds.
No.
He absolutely torched them. Was it 40 odd seconds?
There's something going on with EF and
And
time
it
trial.
was a genuine measure of strength too.
Oh,
Yeah.
doesn't he have like the most kilometres on Zwift?
Not too sure. I'm
He's
not
got
too
some-
familiar with
He's got some
Zwift.
freaky Zwift numbers.
Yeah, okay. But overall, it seems like a little bit of a traditional EF team. A lot of the times
Yeah.
in Grand Tours, they just throw guys in. You're a good rider. Get in there.
It's not quite Trek, pick them out of the
No,
hat,
it's
but
not.
it's not exactly Jumbo Visma strategy.
No.
They were the very last team to hand their team sheet.
Always are.
Time trial, Bissiger is the new man on the block.
Yep.
Yep.
Magnus Cort will be there, even in the first 2 stages, like
Yeah.
everyone else will be. He'll be their bunch sprint man, and you'll see that pink jersey randomly in the bunch sprint, and you'll come 9th in all of them.
And then he'll win a stage of the Welter.
Yeah, so the real messy,
Yeah.
messy, like 6 category climbs is the only one I got over.
Yeah.
Valgren gets to start on the tour.
Valgren, yeah.
But, not having done much the last couple of seasons. There was that period there where he was the next best classics rider. And since then, has kind of fizzled out a little bit.
It's a big contract for Valgren. Went quiet
Yep.
after, like you said. So it'd be interesting to see what he's got to show.
What's their angle here? Is it a genuine GC?
I think they're going to see where
Attempt.
they are post first week.
Just put the feelers out.
Yeah. If Rigoberto, they'd probably be happy with him getting the top 5. There was a 2 years ago where he finished 4th. No, 2nd. I can't even remember. I'm that bad with people who didn't win.
I think he has. Has he got second at the
Yeah, I
tour
think it was
before?
2nd.
And it was a year that we weren't expecting him to deliver.
He just
Yeah.
held on.
Yeah. And
I think you're right, Max. I think they'll have a couple of guys looking after him, but it's not going to be Ineos with the full squad looking after Rigo on the front. And then they'll assess after the time trial.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a polka dot man amongst there as well, Ruben Guerrero. He's won it in the Giro.
Yeah.
Antiguita as well. We'll
Yes.
probably be looking for it.
Yeah. Probably Caleb's biggest sprint challenge. Groupama FDJ. Demars at the helm. He's got all his boys there. Miles Scotson's within that, a key part of his lead-out train.
So are they all Demars boys? Someone told me that Demars' sprint train wasn't as good as normal. So Gadu isn't, and is Meduas?
So the guys that were at the Giro with him last year, who
Yeah.
were there, is Miles, Conovalovas, and Guaranini, the Jacopo, the Italian.
Yep.
So there's
There's
only
a three.
three plus
And then
Demar.
Uh-huh.
Stefan normally gets on the front
Kung comes into that equation now for me. Kung probably comes in ahead of Miles, and then the other two are the last for Demar. So it's not like all out 7 lead out men.
So we don't know our random Frenchman at the top there, Bruno Amaral.
Not super familiar.
Okay. So Gadou has maybe a domestique there.
Maybe.
I think Gadou will be doing a lot of things by himself.
Like Tebow?
Yeah.
Well, how is Tebow? I miss him.
Where is he?
I don't know.
Did I was bullish on Tebow.
Yeah, you tipped him last year.
What do you go? Pino Chavez Quinella?
Trying to do something different.
What's a pass for Demar? 1?
I think 1.
Well, I think he tends to go for the points as well when he rides. So maybe he'll be thinking, Caleb, maybe I'll just go points.
That wouldn't be a bad goal for Demar, actually.
Yeah.
The points. But I think bringing 3 specific lead-out men suggests stages.
I don't think Miles Scott's going to be wanting leading him out for the intermediate sprint points. When there's a break up the road, he's for 3 points.
Anything else, Campbell? Before we move on to Wanty Group Air.
Great that Miles gets his start in the Tour de France.
And we look forward to hearing from Miles sometime.
This is where the next sort of 6 or 7 teams, apart from Alpes and Phoenix we haven't gone through, this is where I start throwing some...
This is where the value comes out?
Yeah. Like, I just saw Louis Benke's name. Like, this is where it starts. Fabio Aru's going to pop up somewhere. I don't know where he is.
No,
he's laid out.
Is he?
He's laid out.
Yeah.
Fabio.
Yeah.
Have you got any value for us in this Wanty lineup, Max?
Oh, well, Van Poppel, we've talked about there's maybe a lack of sprinters here with just Caleb and Demar and Cav as your 3 flat sprinters.
We'll throw Mulier in there as well.
Oh, yeah, we haven't got to
Phillipson.
And yeah, they've got 3 actually. So
yeah,
Van Poppel's a good little sprinter as well. So there could be a top 5.
How are the Van Poppel boys getting started the Tour de France?
I don't know.
And outside of them, I know Bacalance and I know Louis Menkes, and I haven't heard of the other guys.
So yeah, the Van Poppel boys, they both rode for Trek once upon a time. Loic Vliegen, he rode for BMC for a couple of seasons. And yeah, Bacalance, he's as old as the hills. So
there's not much going on. They were all in for the Giro by the looks of this team.
I think for them, as always, stage win will be great.
Yep. Israel Startup Nation.
This is a bit more interesting.
There's some big news in this squad. One, Greipel's going v Cav again, like we touched on. Froome's back.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just quickly run through their ages?
Yeah,
Please do.
actually list their ages.
Greipel's 38, Froome's 36, Holstein's 35, Boyven's 32, Dan Martin's 34, Michael Woods 34. They got a young Israel rider at 24, Goldstein, and Rick Zebel at 27. Compare that to the top of the list, UAE. Their 2 highest price paid riders in Hershey and Pogacar are 22.
Yeah. That is an ancient team. That's that Israel
dinosaur
team.
squad.
Does Greipel have a payment deal with the Tour de France to lead Gruppetto and just get the Gruppetto? Is the experience you always see him just gunning it in the Gruppetto? Is that do they give him like a little bit of side cash to help out with the Gruppetto?
Something I'm familiar with, but it's definitely possible.
What's he doing?
Well, he
just loves it.
To be fair,
he must love it.
He's had some Tour victories this year, so he's in better form than what he was last year and the year before.
Yeah.
Geez, he must love bike riding though.
Oh, he must.
But I think, in all seriousness, Dan Martin and Michael Woods can cause problems.
They're the two guys.
Michael Woods is in form as well.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Michael Woods, and Dan Martin was obviously good at the Giro.
I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about Michael Woods. It was an American one. So they were pumping up Michael Woods, Canadian. And they said, and he's got 2 of the best leaders like in the Tour in Froome and Greipel. Michael Woods will not see them.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where they all link up.
There is not much leading from the Gruppetto. I hope Froome rides better. That'd be good. That'd be good to see. I was a bit up in the air about Froome with the asthmatic stuff, where we won't go into, but I do hope he gets to a competitive level.
What are your thoughts on him going?
Froome going?
Yeah, Froome going.
I think if you're paying him that much money that they're paying him, you just got to take him.
Get him in.
Just get him in there.
Yeah.
Like,
there is some value in being a 4-time winner.
We're already talking about him. He's going to be. I think it's the bigger thing just for Froome. Like, I know he's come such a long way. Like, he couldn't walk.
Yeah. How bad? Like how bad was this goddamn crash?
buckled.
Every time you see him drop from the peloton, the crash becomes worse. The story gets worse. Oh, but have you seen the crash? Apparently he couldn't walk. And then he gets dropped the next day from the peloton. He couldn't walk for 4 days. Then he gets dropped the next day. He couldn't walk for 4 months, man. Like, he was...
I just think the piece for Froome is that he's just got to be able to accept that he's going to get dropped and he's going to have the camera in his face and he's going to get asked questions every day.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, that would do my head in as a former champion of the sport.
4-time champion of the Tour de France.
Like, yeah, it's a long way from where he's been.
I've never seen in cycling a bigger long-term goal than Chris Froome has right now. They
Mm.
keep saying he's all in for the 2022 Tour. I'm like,
Yeah.
just wait. Just park it up. You might not be all in for the 2022 Tour.
How long has he got at this team? It was a big deal in the end, wasn't it? It was like 4 years or something on serious cash.
Yeah, serious money.
Hats off
He's
to him.
also 36,
He's old.
which has become really old in the last 3 years.
Yeah, big time.
Jeez, he got there quickly, didn't he?
Team
36.
DSM, we ripped them last year.
Yeah, we did.
We took them to the cleaners and then they put on a clinic at
And
the
it's
Tour
not
de France.
dissimilar
Yeah.
to last year.
Well, there's no Hershey.
No Hershey, but Crow Anderson, you just feel somewhere there's a stage for him.
Did we have an update on Sis Bowl and what he's done?
He was second. He was second when Van Aert won that proper bunch kick. That was his best result of last year's tour. Yeah.
Tige Benoit, will he try and hold on to the GC guys or will he just be staging it?
Nah,
Stages
just
for him.
staging it.
Crow Anderson as well.
There's not a lot.
They're
But-
the youngest team at the tour.
But
on
there
average.
wasn't. Yeah, they're always the youngest team.
Yeah, no one over 30.
Yeah. Tige Benoit at 27 with the experience on his back.
Yeah.
Albertson Phoenix. This is maybe the most exciting news of the Tour de France. That Mathieu van der Poel is going to be there.
Yeah.
My favourite team.
The Vans are
Currently.
going. The Vans and Julian Alaphilippe is massive news for cycling. They're all going head to head at the Tour de France.
Yeah. There's some good stories to come of this.
Yeah.
Mathieu will be in the normal team jersey as well for a change, not winning the Dutch Nationals.
Didn't even go. Oh, pulled out.
Um,
Pulled out halfway through, apparently.
So, yeah, I mean, for him, a stage minimum. Will he stop after 10 stages? He's obviously got some big goals for the mountain bike at Tokyo. I feel like that might play a little bit of a role for him.
Will he ride on a flat, so 3, let's say stage 3, he's gone full gas 1 and 2 to try and win him. Maybe did win him. Maybe in yellow.
Probably did win them.
Will he ride for Merlier or Philipsen?
If I was those two, I'd bloody hope so.
Yeah. But arguably as quick as maybe Philipsen. Maybe Merlier is probably quicker than all 3.
It's interesting. There's a lot of speed in there.
Who is the leader in the sprints, Merlier or Philipsen?
I think Merlier.
Yeah.
I think Merlier.
Got the runs on the board at the Giro.
Just though.
Remember a couple of years ago, Philipsen was like the new kid on the block, the new sprinter, going head to head with Caleb, but Tour Down Under, boxing on.
Did he win Skelter Prize?
He did something
Last
really good
year?
in one of the Grand Tours last year. He won one of the stages that was a bit lumpy, but I think it was with the Volta, so
Yeah.
it was probably
Is there a bit of an asterisk next to
probably
that?
up against Paul.
Yeah, no.
Mochetti would have been there.
He would have.
Yeah, that's the story. I guess, so Van der Poel going for yellow on the first 2 days and the first 2 stages. What does Wout van Aert do?
It depends how much license he gets.
I think I'm hearing that he thinks he's out of form. The
I don't
Belgian
believe that for a
national titles
second.
will help him a little bit to feel like he's back in form, but I think he thinks he's going to ride himself into the Grand Tour, which means 1 and 2's off for him. I
And-
think Primoz wants 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Primoz can win 1 and 2.
Yeah.
He's got genuine punch.
Yeah.
But I love that he's out of nick and he's just won maybe the hardest national championships on the globe.
Yep. And I guarantee you they're not taking him if he's not in good nick. Obviously, he's in good nick because he won nationals. So I don't believe that for a second.
Alpecin, I'm in love with their team. I mean, I know they got a star and it's helped them, but they forced the Tour's hand because they were the number 1 team last year. So you get a wild card entry if you're not a Pro Tour team, if you're in the top 15 or something, and they were number 1.
Yeah.
So like, all right, well, you have to come to the tour. Van der Poel's come, Philipsen's come, Merlier's come. They've probably got a little climber in here like Xandro Maurice that can probably get a little break.
Peter Vacock as well. Had a number of years with Quickstep. Good rider. So overall, it's a rock solid team.
Yep. Direct Energy.
Mm-hmm.
All win for Sagan 2022 is what I'm hearing.
I think the biggest talking point from this team is their disgusting new kit. Have you boys seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It is awful. It is goddamn awful.
What's AF running with for the tour?
I'm not too sure whether they're going to come up with a new special kit for the tour, but do yourself a favour when you get a chance and have a look at this kit. It is awful.
Just reading through the team sheet. Edward Bozenhagen rides for them.
Yes.
Yeah, he's still on the tour.
Sorry?
Yeah. Is that what you guessed it?
Yeah.
Did I misread that? You were just surprised you was at Total Direct Energy.
And racing.
Where's
Where's he gone?
He was
I don't know.
He was at the South African team.
He
last
was.
year.
He was.
So
He was
that's obviously.
at Assos.
Yep.
But I didn't know he made the jump. But it also makes sense because I haven't heard of him anywhere.
10 years ago, we began stage 1. Suits, Bozenhagen.
Yeah. Well, he won 2 stages, 2011, I think it was, when Brad Wiggins crashed out and he tortured. That was 10 years
That's when
ago.
he was at Sky,
Yeah.
Well, Turgis will be thereabouts in those first 2 as well. Good one-day rider. Actually had some good one-day results. I think he finished top 10 in 2 or 3 of the one-day classics.
He's been second at Roubaix a number of years ago.
Yeah, right. So
Still on the Palmares, though, still counts. And Pierre Latour.
And Pierre Latour.
Yeah.
Well, he's my second Frenchman to go with Guy Martin.
Yep.
You put David Gadou in there.
Yep, I have.
Roman Bardet will probably make his way back onto the tour just to ride for the polka dots.
A late in.
I mean, the next team has our next Frenchman who will also be involved.
Yeah.
But
Okay, Samsic headed up by Warren Bargill.
wants the polka dots.
This is actually a pretty good team on paper. There's a lot of names here that you're familiar with. I'm talking...
Does that make him a good team?
Yeah, it does. What do you think? What do you think?
Buhani to get blacklisted for some kind of erratic move in
I'm
the sprint.
worried. I'm worried that this guy is in the peloton. And you know what? There's 8 chances of him to cause chaos.
Yeah.
Where's he at? Where's Buhani at?
What do you mean?
Like, I haven't mentioned him in any of those
all he
flat
can do-
sprints.
You're right. When does he race? Where does he race? And why is he doing the Tour de France?
I don't know.
But he's on money. He's their pin-up boy.
Well,
Like,
he was at Cofidis too. He was getting a bucket
If
at
you
Cofidis.
walked past their headquarters, wherever it is, Team Arkea Samsic, and they've got their picture boy on their front door, it'll
That's
be
him.
Buhani.
Yeah.
It's like Melbourne Victories. We share a locker change rooms with Melbourne Victory. Theirs is their goalkeeper. Soccer shouldn't have their goalkeeper as their marquee player on
Probably
their front
not.
door. It's almost as bad as us having our ruckman. Like, it should be Petraka. Like,
Buggy, where's he at though? Like he had that massive tour. Was it 2017 when him and Matthews were just like
Yeah.
crushing it?
I think he's still living off his... where did he go after Sunweb?
Yep.
He's living off that contract. He's
Yeah.
just putting the feet up down the south of
that was when he
France.
had an amazing tour.
Yeah.
He had a good Liège this year, I think. I think he finished... Oh, sorry. Top 10.
Run with it.
I'm
Go
gonna
with
say
it.
top
Back
ten.
yourself in.
I believe you, Max.
Yeah, and Quintana has already said that he's already been dropped from GC, he said. So he's
Stages.
He's going to go
Stages.
for how cool is that? Quintana going for breaks and stage wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
That'd be cool to see.
I don't mind it. BB Hotels.
The last of our Frenchmen going for the polka dot.
Pierre.
Wasn't he going to be the next best thing?
The main thing on my notes for this was they got 3 Cyrils in their team.
This is another. I love that. This is another. Where's this sprinter at? Cockard was going to be the next best thing.
He
wasn't
was.
Yeah.
Yep. I believe he's also been second on the Champs-Élysées once upon a time.
They all
But-
fall over that year. Was that the year Groenewegen won because
Is that
everyone was
maybe
over?
the year that all the sprinters were getting timed out in the mountains?
Yeah.
Yeah, always someone that's active. He's busy. He'll be the one going
Times
for the
well.
He'll be the one going for the intermediate sprints at all times and at all costs.
Well, do we put a little thing on him for green jersey?
Get the market. I want to see it.
So Cockard and Buhani, Greipel and Cav.
There's
What a sprint list.
There's a lot of sprinters here. I mean, we know it's Cavendish, it's Caleb, and it's Demar who are the top tier.
Yeah.
But there's so many guys that are going to be backing themselves
See,
into cause trouble.
I know we've gone for.
And I'm worried.
I know we've gone for Bahrain. I'll put Sonny Colbrelli in those 4.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon Sonny will be in all of the top 3s on those bunch sprints.
Okay.
And obviously Peter will be as well. Sagan.
Yep. Yeah, I don't mind it. Did you do a top 38 by any chance, Max?
Fun fact, Peter Sagan's wearing the Slovakian jumper for the first time in a long time.
Because normally he's his
'Cause
brother.
He normally rides for his brother, I think, on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Watt.
And before that, he just wore the World Champs jersey.
Yeah. And then normally he's always in a leader's jersey
just
as well.
winning the points.
I don't know how many I got. Let me just 1, 2, 3. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Campbell, do we want to do our punts now, or do we want to? We've got heaps of listener questions.
Yeah,
we can keep talking. Where do you want to go with this?
I reckon we start with a few questions while Max is going through his
34.
His elusive.
34.
What did I say? I said
infamous-
38 last time.
Okay,
didn't I?
well, let's hold on the questions and let's
I'll get the
go-
questions up.
go to Max with his infamous top 34. The fans have been waiting for it.
All right, my top 5 is pretty self-explanatory for mine. Pog, Rog, Carapaz.
The Pog to win.
Pog, Rog, Carapaz, Gadoo, Alaphilippe.
He loves to do this guy.
I love that Alaphilippe is fit.
Thomas 6, Lopez 7, Port 8, Mass 9, Hamilton 10.
I like that.
Iran 11.
This is where it gets good.
Iran 11, Haig 12, Woods 13, Kelderman 14, O'Connor 15. Poles 16, Bookman 17. Hold on, I've got the wrong man there. Gegenhardt 18, Latour 19, Maurice 20. Quintana 21, loses an hour, that's about 21. Parit Piantri, who's O'Connor's mate, 22. Yates 23, Nibley 24, Mollema 25. Chavez, Soler, Fugslang, Izagiri, Guy Martin, Dan Martin, Rafa Micah, and Piao Bilbao.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hot off the press.
I want a little bit more information on my Frenchman from FDJ, Valentin Madouce, because I think he could be in there as well. Hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Didn't put
that is
Buggy.
hot.
Didn't put Pierre Roland in there.
Few questions.
Yeah.
Stewie 15 says thoughts on Port sneaking away and getting GC.
So that's what happened in the Dauphiné. They said, we got 2 cards to play here. Let's send Port up and make them chase. No one chased. Port gets in a better spot than G. Thomas. Port ends up being their leader. So if that happens again, I'm sure G. Thomas ain't putting his hand up. He'll be saying, I'm the one to go.
Yeah.
But if they at one point have to play a card and no one chases, that person will then become the leader.
Yeah.
There's going to be this interesting point in time where they're going to start attacking.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be like calculating within the team, like, so which one? When do I need to go?
Yeah.
Which is the attack you want to be on?
That's the one. If it's Port, Carapaz, and Thomas there, and Rog attacks, who chases? I think Port's completely selfless. I reckon he's the
I agree.
selfless one.
Yeah.
I worry about Richie. I haven't seen much of Richie being the number 2. He's been the number 1 in the last sort of 2 or 3. When he was at Movistar, I'm not sure if he was too upset about being at Movistar. He obviously left, but
Who's this?
Richie Carapaz.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, they're both Richie, so
Yeah.
it's a bit confusing.
Yep.
But Richie Port selfless, Richie Carapaz not sure, Thomas selfless. So they've got a good little group there.
Just thinking on that question, we kind of answered it when we were talking about Ineos, that they very well can play either the mountain train or play their numbers. So hopefully it's the latter. I'd like to see them really animate the race with 4 proper leaders.
One of them's on the podium, and I got no idea who it's going to be.
Yeah. This is a good question from Matthews24. The Champs-Elysees finish line's been moved 300 metres down the track from the last corner. It's now 700 metres from the last
That's
corner.
a really good fun fact.
That is a good fun fact. And a big thing, because the run into that last quarter is
It's all about positioning.
It is.
so important.
Yeah.
Now you got a little bit of time to... But does that also mean there's more cobbles?
It's got Magnus Court written all over it, doesn't it?
What do you mean more cobbles?
Well, is the finish line isn't flat, is it? It's not asphalt.
No, it's all cobbled.
Yeah.
I think it starts to slowly go uphill too. I don't think it changes too much, but it does make the run in a little bit more friendly.
Is that one of Caleb's 8?
Hey?
Is that one of Caleb's 8?
Yep, that's
You're
on the
keeping
8.
him there till 21.
I think so.
Yeah, I think also it's an easier tour.
Yeah.
You don't reckon that chronic knee pain will come back in around 2 weeks?
Can't
Sorry,
see it
Caleb.
happening.
So I'm sorry, Caleb.
I can't see Yeah, I mean, that year that the sprinters were just falling left, right and centre, there seems to be no real severe mountain day where riders are going to get kicked.
Yep. We've touched on this one a little bit from Matthews 24 as well. Should Wood Van Aert have the freedom?
I don't think so. People love the Van show. I don't think Wood Van Aert should have the freedom.
Actually,
I think he's signed like they've told him that they want to win the Tour. If I was Primoz, I want Wout van Aert riding. Like, if they're there in a bunch sprint and Roglic doesn't need the protection and Wout can go for it. But if he crashes, like, I'd be filthy if I was Primoz.
Yeah. I mean, last year he was doing the job and still managed to win 2 stages, so...
He'll get the freedom.
He can do it.
To answer the question, he'll get the freedom, but I don't think he should.
Yeah. What are Uran's chances?
Who's asked that?
Pablo Gomez Borrero we're going global.
We actually are.
Where'd you put him, Max, on your top? Was he around 10?
He was 10 to 11.
I like Uran just to sneak into the top 5.
In and around Lucas Hamilton, Rigo was.
We've been talking a lot about TTs in this podcast, and that's that plays into his strength.
If he didn't do that TT that he did
at Swiss,
he would be like, Rigo, top 10 maybe, top 20. But that TT, he's in good nick.
Yeah, he is.
My top 38 at the Giro half didn't finish. So that's the thing. I've got him for 10th. He's most likely going to be 5th.
Yeah. I don't mind him at all. Nate Titch, his ass, is the top 38 coming.
It was a top 34. I'd like to do a little bit more work on it and make it a 38.
Okay.
If that's okay. Just to keep that. The Volta's going to be incredibly hard. To pick 38, spending climbers aren't my strong point. So
this is a good point too from Matty Harris 77. If Ineos keeps sending people up the road, will the Pog have to chase? That's a good scenario.
I don't think
for fans, yes.
Is there a scenario where there is just Ineos left, Rog and Pog have no teammates, Sepp Kuss has to go, which I don't really see happening, but they actually have to do the work. They're on the defense. And I think that's where this is new territory for the Pog especially.
Yeah.
Roglic seems to be always chasing.
Yeah.
He's always doing work to pull things back together.
I don't think there's a time that if Port is still there, Kuss isn't. That's my gut feel. So I don't reckon there'll be that opportunity. There will be a time where it'll be just Carapaz, Thomas, or even no Thomas, but Carapaz, Thomas, and the 2 boys, Slovenian boys. Then it's a bit interesting, but there's only 2 Ineos boys.
Yeah.
I think if Port's still there, I think Kuss is my gut feel.
Yeah. Question from Greg. How will Movistar beat Ineos for the team comp?
I don't think they do. I think they'll lose it this year.
It's all over.
Yeah.
The end of an era.
That's always their consolation prize, isn't it? They made it was quite funny in the season 2. They made a big song and dance about them stepping on that podium at the Tour for the teams class. And Mass cooked it on the last stage, like they were all disappointed. And then they go, we won the teams comp.
You got to take something out of it.
We won the teams comp.
The couple of questions here from Greg also around Sammy B we've talked about with Lefebvre, and also why no Rowan? Good question. Good question. Jeff, favourites for each stage. Each stage. We've talked about some clear sprinting favourites, but is there anyone that you're like, that person's going to win a stage?
Well, Alaphilippe will win a stage. We all agree with that.
Yeah.
Van Aert win a stage. Van der Poel win a stage.
Yeah.
Roglic win a stage. Pog probably should. The TT, Bissinger, maybe. If he's going better than the GC boys on that day.
I think the GC boys.
You reckon?
Going to be in
think
such
so?
good nick, yeah.
We think Cav will win a stage.
Especially the early one.
Stage 5. Well, that's the one that he's probably going to be able to target Bissiger.
Yeah.
I think DSM's stage win this year is coming from my boy Sispol.
With all of the sprinters that we've been through, he's going to torch them.
Correct.
Okay.
Maximum Electrical. Will MVW face the same criticism? Van der Poel face the same criticism as Caleb if he leaves to prep for the Olympics?
Possibly, but I don't think he cares. If he wins a stage, he wears the yellow jersey, and then he goes to Tokyo and wins the mountain bike.
Didn't hear much coming from the Swiss locals when he left the Tour de Suisse on stage 3.
Exactly.
Question for you, Max, on from More Gains. But seriously, what do you think about your boy Tratnik?
Well,
he's the Slovenian time trial champion, Max.
Yeah,
what have you got?
He's gone and backed up my call of being one of the best TTs in the world and beaten Pogacar, who we see what he did the Tour last year. Just crazy results from Tratnik. He rode an unbelievable Giro, as did all the Bahrain boys. I'm a Tratnik man. Who is my TT boy this year? I can't pick Bissinger because he's the favourite. Let's go. Actually, from Quebecer, Max Wilshed.
Maxi. Caleb for Green question.
Has he ever targeted it? I don't think he has.
I don't think so.
But
if he wins 3-4, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. And the way you're talking about him, you're very bullish about it, Alex. I think it could just be a byproduct of winning truckloads of stages. And if he, like you said, if he wins a couple, Max, I think it could become a priority.
Yeah.
My green tip's Sonny, to put it out there.
I think it'd be something that he would want to win once in his career. Yeah.
It does look good in the resume, doesn't it?
It does.
The fact that Baden Cook is a green jersey.
Yeah. He's on Survivor
just helps him.
as well.
He's still doing cashies.
He's doing Survivor.
I walked past the pub the other day and it said Baden Cook's on tonight. Like, he's still doing cashies off that green jersey. Caleb will be set for life.
Yeah.
All he needs is that jersey. I maybe my favourite question, JPC71. In honour of Richie, can you please refer to it as the Tor?
The Tor. It's all about the Tor.
Don't know if you've heard Richie's interviews, Max, but he refers to it as the Tor.
The Tor.
Oh, really?
The Tor.
The Tor.
It's all that Tor.
The Tor de France.
I thought you were going to talk about the Tourmalet for a second there.
It is in the parkour this year, which is nice.
I'm really looking forward. The first time ever I'm going to be able to watch a climb that I've gone up. Just to see how they do it. But I think they're going up the other way, which is disappointing.
That's arguably the most important stage, the Tourmalet into Luzardi Den.
They've got Mont Ventoux up and down.
Yeah,
twice.
2 ascents.
Yeah.
One and a half.
1.5,
arguably. But yeah, I'd almost argue that there's no genuine out-and-out Queen stage. Maybe stage number 17.
That Tourmalet, it's the back-to-back days, 17, 18. That's a 2 big days.
Tourmalet is stage 11.
Ooh.
And then stage 17 and stage 18 are the 2 big ones, with the stage 18 being Tourmalet into Luzardi.
And stage 9's good as well.
Most anticipated stage, a question from Pumpsgram. What do you think?
I think it's stage 1.
I probably agree.
Do we want to talk about stage 1 a little bit? I think this is
classic.
something...
This is classics.
This is like... Lucas talked about in the pod. He's like, geez, like a 6K prologue wouldn't have hurt to start off my...
a nice little ease into it.
You know what? France career.
I couldn't think of anything worse than 197 Ks in Bretagne. It's going to be 15, 16 degrees with a few showers, probably some wind around, and everyone thinking that they're a chance to win. I couldn't think of anything worse.
They're going to give someone yellow who can hold on to it. That's what's exciting about this stage. They're trying to add a bit of theatre. I like it.
Imagine the stress, though. The stress overlay. Like, Campbell, describe Bretagne. Just describe the region.
The most exposed region to wind in France. Rolling hills, little protection.
So you're telling me we could even see some gaps with the wind?
Potentially. There's
so
every
much.
chance. There's no straight piece of road, which doesn't really bode well for crosswinds because the direction is always changing too much. But...
like farm rows, narrow rows, left, right, up, down, like just like ripping roads that rip your legs in half.
If we're all tipping stage 1, are we all tipping MVDP?
I think so. The reason I wouldn't tip him is just because how important position he's going to be and how much stress there is on that race. Like, because every GC team is going to be there, and every team that has a guy that's going to win is going to be there, and that is the entire field. There is no one else left. Every team is going to want to be at the front. It's going to be super stressful. Everyone's going to be super nervous. It's going to be hard, like so hard to get things started.
I hate to say this, but I think it's always important to prepare yourself for it. We're going to lose a big rider
100%
in these first couple of days through a crash, which sucks, but that's show business.
I think MVDP wins it, but it's an interesting trifecta. It's not Van Aert, Alaphilippe. I think it's Roglic, Colbrelli.
Valverde's there as well.
Oh.
Maybe more on stage 2.
And my roughie's Conrad.
I
We've talked about Patrick.
I don't mind. I think just Rog to win the opening stage.
Okay. So we've got 3 different. You're going to go with Mathieu, Roglic.
We're gonna go with
I'll
Rog.
go Alaphilippe.
Is a question here, Max? Last question. Have you got any smokies for the punt this tour?
Well, I said, do I have any smokes? Jesus.
Those days are behind you. aren't they?
Those days are gone from the freeway
We'd sure hope so. Smokies for the punt.
for the punt.
So Colbrelli for the green, but that's not. I think he's third favourite, so I'm not giving that smoky.
It's so hard to find value. Me and Campbell were having a look before.
Yep. There's Ben O'Connor's teammate. If something happens to Ben, Parrot Piantry for a top 10 in the round 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we said, I think GC guys will fall off after top 5. I think guys will be losing time for fun. Like these guys, they're not going to get Rog, Pog, Ineos.
Yeah.
So there's a chance to get a top 10 there. And then there's just stages. There'll be stages. I might voice them every now and then. I might come on. Like my roughie for stage 1's Conrad, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Bowl will be in there for one of the sprint stages. The stage the Cav wins, if you can find it, there'll be money for that. There's a lot of nice bit of sentimental value about some of the flat stages. They go to places where Cavs won.
Yeah,
before.
well, I did notice when I was going through the parcours, I think into Châteauroux is where he won his first stage back in 2008. So there's something in that.
Yep.
Definitely something in that. That's stage number 6.
When all goes wrong, Bahrain and Astana, back them for a stage. For the stages you don't know, breaks, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
back someone from those 2 teams.
Yep.
But I can't help you with the trifecta, unfortunately. Maybe go the more distant of the Ineos riders.
Are we gonna do? We're gonna do a top 3 without one of the 2 boys.
I thought just to add it to a bit. Let's say one of Rog and Pog don't finish.
Yeah.
Then we do our trifecta.
Yep.
You start us off then, Max.
So I'm going Pog. So I'm leaving Rog out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Pog. Then I'm going to go Carapaz. Then David Gidou.
See, I'm going the other way. I think Rog is going to win the Tour de France. He's learned his lessons last year. He's got a stacked squad, and I think Pog, he's not going to have the leeway that he got last year.
But some of his classic stuff was just unbelievable.
I know, but it's Tour de France.
Okay. So
Rog is going to win the Tour de France. So I'm leaving Pog out because I say that with confidence, but I don't really have any confidence. I think
Just for the sake of this exercise,
yeah.
we're going to do it.
yeah, Rog's there. Geraint Thomas.
you reckon
second.
he wins the Ineos battle?
He wins the Ineos battle because he TTs like a madman. Like back to old Geraint TT condition.
If Carapaz is at... Who's a team of one rider? AG2R and Bike Exchange. Does he beat Thomas?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I think that the team's strength will get him on the podium.
Yep.
And then we won't see him for kind of the first 10 days. And then Rigo will just pop up. Uran to finish third.
Rigoberto.
Rigo's going to come good.
Loves the tour.
Loves the tour.
I'm going to go Pog. Pog will be my pick out of those 2. I also think Thomas will be the leader of Ineos, therefore probably finish second.
Come on, give us Julian.
I'm not going to give you Julian, but someone that... it's too reckless, but I'm going to go for it. Yoni Zagira. It's reckless.
I get I've picked a climber who can't time trial, but you've picked a time trialer who can't climb.
He can climb.
He can't climb with the top 30.
He can climb okay, and he can also descend really well. There's a lot of stages that finish on big descents.
I'm
you can get
changing
back on.
David Gidou to Tony Martin.
Come on. I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to give you something. I could have said Carapaz. I could have said...
I like it. I think Eon Izagirre will be told to be the the guy who stays on GC.
That's a genuine smoke.
It's super smoky.
That's a genuine smoker. That's Chavez areas. Points. Who wins that?
I think Caleb.
I think Caleb, yeah. Caleb off wins.
Okay.
Caleb off stage wins.
Mm-hmm.
Will you see him going for intermediates
And
late
he'll
third week?
Yeah, and he'll be racing Colbrelli, who's
Yeah.
just going to go for intermediates from the get-go.
So I'm going Colbrelli.
Yeah, I think.
Because I think
both
Colbrelli,
both
as with his form, has a chance to win a bunch sprint.
And I also think Colbrelli might be able to rack up some points on the harder finishes where the vans are going for it.
King of the Mountains.
King of the Mountains.
It's between the Frenchmen.
It's the biggest lottery, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the amount of stages Rog and Pog are going to win, they could win it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just go back to your top three? So you guys think Pog's going to win. How is he going to win? He's going to climb better than everyone?
He's just going to outclimb people.
No, because
outclimb
there's
people.
two egotistical teams there. Ineos and Jumbo will do the work. Pog does not need a good team. They will do the work.
I think there could be something in that. Even though he's the defending champion, I still don't think the team as a whole is as big as Jumbo or Ineos.
Everyone's going, I haven't seen Formula or Micah do work on the front. They won't. They won't need to. They'll be there. They'll be with him. They'll hand him a bit on.
I'm really interested to see how that
And then
will play
Movistar
out.
will go full gas.
Yeah.
the time UAE need to work,
Exactly.
Movistar will
They'll
go full gas.
They'll get a chop out from either Movistar or Bahrain.
Or Sagan thinks he can win.
Yeah.
Polka dot.
Draw straws on this one.
Take your pick.
Who do you think is going to go for it?
That's
really?
yeah. The thing is, though, you've got to actually be a really good climber now to win it because there's so much points on offer over the HC climbs.
I'm going to go left field. Someone to beat the four Frenchmen we mentioned, which were Roland Barguil, Gadou, and...
Is that Cosnefroy?
No, I didn't say Cosnefroy. Who cares? I'm going...
Kenny Ellison?
I'm going the Aussie. Simon Clark. Gets him breaks for fun.
And I thought my Ion Nizagira for third was wild.
When you mentioned the Aussie, I thought you were thinking maybe Ben O'Connor is a fall off the GC but have big climbing prowess and go hunting late in the piece.
I wasn't.
Not bad.
I was thinking of Simon Clark.
Simon Clark is not going to win the polka dot jersey, Max.
I'll go Lopez. I'll go Miguel Angel.
I'll do a repick. I'll go Guy Martin. He'll be favourite, so that's boring. But
Yep.
You?
Lopez. Oh, I'm going to stick with actually Ben O'Connor.
With Ben O'Connor? Yeah, I like that. I do like it.
Young rider. Wonder
Doesn't
who.
matter.
can we take out Pog?
If we take out the Pog.
I think it's Gadou.
Does Lucas still qualify for what?
Do you have to be under 25 or
thought it was
25?
25 is allowed.
I thought it was
I
under
think.
26.
Because I think Ben O'Connor's eligible and he's 25, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Lucas.
think David Gadou is mine.
Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to sort out that TC.
That's us.
I'm excited, boys.
An hour and 37 minutes later. We're
Is that
done.
hour and 37?
Yeah.
No one will listen to that. Surely.
Well, if
Who
you're still here, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support.
You'll know about Conrad. You'll know about Ion Ezagiri. And if they win, we'll let you know.
Actually, if you're still listening right now, send us a message. Like, send me a note, because it is greatly appreciated. If you want to come on the Map Shop ride and taste their brew, Saturday at 8 o'clock. And thanks to the TAC for their presenting partner. Make sure the road is safe for all of us and you're all doing your bit out there. Thanks, Max. All the best on Saturday. Thanks, Campbell, for coming on.
Thank you.
It's good to have you back.
What a 3 weeks we have ahead of us.
We've got a big 3 weeks ahead of us. And that was a big episode to get things moving.